Hi there.
Hey, awesome. Well, I wanted to welcome you to Unpacked. Let's all give a big warm welcome to Kevin from Recharge. So, a little bit of background on Recharge. Recharge is the leading subscriptions payment solution helping e commerce merchants of all sizes launch and scale subscription offerings. So, this is probably my favorite icebreaker. If everyone can drop in the chat what your current subscription addiction is. Mine is literally Netflix and Verb Energy. I think Verb Energy has carried me through this day. So if everyone can just drop it off in the chat. And then, Kevin, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Thanks so much, Carly. I really appreciate it, and great to connect with you all today, and to be here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, and we'll jump right into it.
Perfect.
Um, Awesome. So I'm here to talk to you today. As Carly mentioned, I'm a technology partnerships manager here at Recharge, and I'm here to share with you a little bit about how to automate a powerful subscription business. I've been with Recharge for about 5.5 years, so I've gotten to see a lot of the growth of the subscription industry and the variety of merchants that have scaled up and done really well on the platform. And most importantly, what some of the technology stacks they've leveraged for competitive advantage and for success. So it's with that purview that I'll dive into the topic today. We won't be able to go over everything that merchants use. Of course, there's hundreds, thousands of apps in some cases that people use. But I do want to define some of the impactful categories of integrations that are important for subscription businesses. The second thing we'll talk about is some example customer subscription models and journeys and how they've been built. And with that in mind, I think that'll shed some light on how business owners are identifying what to automate in their businesses and what they're not. And most importantly, how they're building for success and adapting along the way. So to start, I love this quote from David Molenkamp. He's the director of product at Shopify Plus. And in a recent presentation, he shared a great quote, and it encompasses what automation really is here. E-commerce automation software built to convert tasks, processes, or campaigns within your business to automations that intelligently execute exactly when needed. And I think the point of that is, well, that really is ultimately what automations are. It's the software that we're working with ourselves. You're using automations every day within ShipBob or within Recharge of the various apps you're using. And you're leveraging automations as well when you're stitching together integrations that automate tasks that you normally would do manually. So with that in mind, let's go into some integration categories and start talking about some of the examples that are leveraging these. You're going to see people define integration or technologies, apps in so many different ways in the e-commerce industry, but I'm going to just keep it pretty high level and define it in three neat buckets. There's marketing and acquisition channel integrations and apps. There's retention and there's operational. Marketing acquisition ultimately comes to how you're reaching and acquiring new customers, where retention is really the engagement strategies and tactics to retain customers. And of course, operational is everything else that powers your business, from the taxes and financing software to shipping. And again, some of the measurables for each of these categories helps encompass that. So with marketing acquisition, you're looking at your website design, your sales funnels, your advertising and tracking and conversion all matter here, and the speed of which your website and checkout run, the user experience, and the reliability of all these things really is defined success. Whereas with engagement, retention, which is I think more important than ever, as cost of user acquisition or customer acquisition have gone up exponentially, is ways to extend lifetime value, reduce churn, especially in subscriptions, increase average order value, and hopefully increase NPS scores, which is a good indicator of how people liked the brand and the experience. And then lastly, again, with operations, it's about speed and optimization, efficiency, and hopefully saving money. So some examples of apps that fall in these categories are personalization apps, apps like Shogun or Zipify page builders, or Tapcart on the mobile app side, are all about creating rich, personalized website design experiences that are easy to edit and monitor. Obviously, that can get extremely complex if you're doing like progressive web app builds and things where you're leveraging apps like Nacelle and things like that to create really fast website experiences. They're a lot more expensive to go in that direction, but it can scale up a lot. There's upsells and cross sells, probably more important than ever now to increase that average order value. Communication apps, uh, that I mean is email, SMS, social media applications. Just a quick stat on that. Shopify released some data showing that over 70% of transactions on Black Friday, Cyber Monday happened via mobile on Shopify. That is major. That's a major shift and a huge uptick from the previous year. Uh, and I think that just indicates that having a solid communication strategy that's leveraging SMS and personalization that's optimizing your mobile experience is really important. You also have things like tracking, of course, just measuring success. That's, things like Google Analytics on the simple end and a lot more advanced apps on the higher end. And then, of course, affiliate marketing, which leverages, big affiliate networks and pays them commission to help convert users for you. Refersion, who you heard from today, is a great example of an affiliate app. On the retention side, you get subscriptions, of course. You got loyalty and referral, more important than ever, especially to retain your customers and keep them happy, and give them and gamify the experience of referring friends and purchasing. They also are essential for membership models with subscriptions as well. You've got failed payment recovery. That's things like dunning apps like Churnbuster or Profitwell, which what they're looking at is how to recover failed payments on subscriptions. I've seen as much as 20% of someone's monthly recurring revenue for a business recovered just through an optimized dunning strategy or failed payment recovery strategy. Reviews and surveys, of course, reviews speak for themselves. It's a good way to increase customer confidence and get them to commit to buying something when they see good reviews. And it's a good way to get people to share. Post-purchase surveys, especially for subscriptions, also are really great. They have a very high open rate. Subscribers tend to answer these things at a much higher clip than one-time buyers. So embedding those on the checkout thank you pages is a really good way to do that. And then, of course, on the operational side, analytics, shipping, and 3PL software, which you've heard plenty about today. One thing we did notice this year is that customers increasingly wanted to buy local and shop with independents. That's probably due to a lot of the logistical challenges that we've encountered this year. But I also think it's also part of a larger trend of people trying to support local, be more sustainable. I think people realize how much we're buying online, want to be a little bit more conscious of that. So along that same vein, I've seen on the upsell side, back to marketing acquisition, a big uptick with carbon offset applications like EcoCart, Corso, EcoDrive. And these upsell things like, make your purchase carbon neutral. And I've been amazed by how many of those are converting on stores. And then things like shipping insurance upsells, which of course with logistical challenges are really important. So with that defined now, let's go into some example merchant tech stacks and talk about what they're doing and how they're leveraging this. So before we jump into examples, I think it's helpful to understand the stages of business and what they're thinking about as they visit integrations and automations. You have newly started businesses which are new to subscriptions, launching a product for the first time potentially, or at least launching a subscription play for the first time. And when you're at that stage, out of the box functionality, fast launch, and native integrations is really important. I also will stress, I don't think automations make a lot of sense at this stage because you want to self-service your business. You want to focus on manual processes wherever possible to learn the business's needs. That's why I think keeping app usage simple and just getting a product out and then iterating on it is really, really important at this stage. So you're going to see, merchants that are building their tech stacks up are not going to be very complex. Expansion stage, which I'm really focused on today, is the rapidly growing, customer base segment of merchants. It's probably a good amount of the users here today. You've achieved, lifetime value growth, and you're trying to expand on that. You're looking to reduce churn, keep customers engaged, and focus on customization and building out something unique from your product versus everything else out there. And I think, again, this is the stage where you're going to start seeing a lot more niche app usage that take care of tasks that you typically would do manually at the earlier stages. And you're also starting to automate tasks that you clearly have seen you do a lot of. And then that's different from mature stage businesses, which are focusing automation for business expansion. They're definitely leveraging a variety of niche apps out there, looking at advanced customization. And again, this is where automation really, really matters because of the scale you're doing something. automating a task that saves you 5 minutes when you have the amount of transactions that a store does at this scale, levered means you're saving a lot of time, a lot of money. So that in mind, most of the examples I'm talking about today are pretty much expansion stage. So the first example is Zitsticka. It's a pretty youthful, young approach to kind of website that's optimized for a younger demographic. You can see lots of bright colors, very easy call to actions, things you can do right away. There's options to subscribe right away on the website design, and a variety of other types of user experiences from this stage. It's a quick checkout process when you do buy, and there's a lot of analytics and tracking on there. You see, again, credits to different media publications, and you're seeing at the bottom of this, there's a reviews section. Actually, it's a different page, but let's see here. Oh, some of it changed actually since I launched it, but basically, this is very simple website design. What they're leveraging, they've grown really well on the platform. They're leveraging on the communication side PostScript and Klaviyo. PostScript for marketing emails, or excuse me, text. Recharge SMS for transactional, meaning like upcoming, you have an order coming, you canceled when there's some sort of transactional event that happens with their sub. Klaviyo for email marketing, which we have a super deep integration with. All of these apps speak well with each other. Recharge on subs. On the upsells and cross-sells sides, they're leveraging Reconvert and Just Uno upsells. Yotpo Loyalty for loyalty and referral, which just does a great job at customizing their widgets to make leveraging points for future purchases very easy for a user. Support Desk, they're using Gorgeous and Chat Desk. On shipping, ShipBob, and they're using Route for shipping protection. On the automation side, they're leveraging Zapier, no surprise there, and Shopify Flows. One of the great things about Shopify Flows, if you're on Shopify, is, of course, if they have a workflows tool that's built into the platform, there's a lot you can do, because obviously Shopify does a lot. You can do things like, automatically turning products off if you have stock outs, and turning them back on when you do replenish stock. So, all this stuff speaks to itself, as opposed to having a stressed out e-com manager having to check all of these settings each time something changes. They're leveraging Avalara for tax. A lot of these types of consumable products have a variety of different tax rules in each state and county and district that vary greatly. And that's enough to make an accountant's head spin to have to deal with the different filings and the different requirements for that. So we do recommend tax solutions with these types of tech stacks. They're using Elevar, Stitch, and Supermetrics on analytics, using Stitch to pull data out of their store and dump it into their own data warehouse to manipulate and look at things their own way. And on the personalization side, you're leveraging Shogun, Page Builder, and address validation to ensure checkout speed is very fast. You're pre-filling the address in, or you're ensuring it's correct. Gorgeous, again, on Support Desk. Actually, one last point on that. That's the point from this, I think, is that these apps all integrate very well with each other. So for this type of business on our own consumable skincare product, this really builds a highly responsive site, allows them a lot of flexibility with the types of ways that they ship products and that they charge for it. And again, everything speaks well to each other, so they're not doing manual imports. The next example is Verve Coffee Roasters. They've actually been on the platform for some time now, but have had a lot of success. And the whole point they said when they first came onto the platform is just automating the subscription service itself is a game changer. A lot of merchants who don't use subscription software but are doing some sort of repeat ordering or manually updating orders and importing a lot. And obviously all of this is handled when you use a subscription platform. But more importantly, as we get into their tech stack, you can see here, there's also another Shogun theme, you can tell in this case, but it's just a very easy, responsive site. You've got video, you've got clear calls to actions. You can give subscriptions very easily. You can start a subscription. They're very clearly pushing you to subscribe right away. And I believe there's reviews on this site too. Yeah, there you go. So they're pulling in user reviews and things like that to increase confidence. Very fast checkout processes and direct to checkout to reduce friction. So in this case, they're leveraging Klaviyo and Attentive, who you've heard from today also. Great SMS platform for the marketing and communication side, and Recharge SMS for transactional. They're using subscriptions with Recharge, Rebuy for upsells and cross-sells, which touches almost every part of the pre and post purchase sales funnel with upsell opportunities that are intelligent based on data and based on what products are typically paired together. You've got loyalty and referral is managed by Talkable, and support desk is Zendesk and Help Center. Shopify flows again. This using ShipStation, Stocky for inventory management, Advanced Shipping Manager, Shogun on personalization, and Glue for analytics. I think the point with this one is that loyalty programs like Talkable integrate with Recharge. They ensure subscription orders are automated and credited by Talkable. And then they can be redeemed on Recharge purchases. You've got Attentive and Klaviyo campaigns fully leveraging Shopify and Recharge order and subscription data to ensure that marketers stay within the platform to do what they need. And they're also selling or sending automated campaigns based on real events. Things like, don't send someone a cancellation flow until they cancel their last subscription. You don't want to send them one maybe when they canceled one of the items. But that kind of stuff becomes possible when the apps communicate well with each other and intelligent automations are set up. The other thing is Klaviyo can automatically create personalized links that when clicked allow for quick actions to be taken on accounts. So things like reactivating a canceled subscription and applying a discount code, or adding a gift and reactivating at the same time, basically giving a user or a customer a very frictionless way to just re-engage with a brand that they might have canceled, but they might be interested in coming back to. Also, Shopify flows and Stocky can ensure product pages are turned off as soon as product is out of stock, as I alluded to earlier. The last example here is Gem. It's a good example of beauty and skincare, or personal care, massive growth on the platform when they launched. And they saved a lot of time by leveraging Recharge SMS for automation for messaging, as opposed to running a lot of the manual campaigns that they were running before. Just a quick look at their site. You have very simple, clean design, very clear calls to action. It tells you what they're doing right away. You've got reviews right away. You've got all of this basically to push you into a subscription as soon as possible. So what are they leveraging under the hood? It's PostScript and Recharge SMS for SMS communications, and Live Recover for SMS recovery. I think you're seeing a trend here. They're very focused on SMS for communications. Subscriptions with Recharge, Co-op for upsells and cross-sells. Co-op's an awesome upsell app. They make also intelligent product recommendations by pairing brands together that are typically bought together or in conjunction or typically appeal, but they're not necessarily competitive. And the more you refer other brands and convert sales from your pages on your website, the higher your score goes up to get your ads added onto their site. That's really important in the age of first-party data and zero-party data, where it's going to be harder to advertise to people that you don't necessarily know or aren't connected to. On the loyalty and referral side, Rise AI and Smile.io. You got Gorgeous on the support desk, and automation Shopify flows again, and Order Tagger. Sin7 on shipping, personalization Shogun, and analytics is Glue. So again, this is just a good tech stack at a glance. I'm going to jump along because I've got a little bit more to cover, and I know we're running short on time. So all of this gives you kind of an insight into how merchants are choosing apps and choosing what apps work together for different business models. And I think the ultimate question is, what do I automate for myself? And I think the point is that you want to focus your time on what matters most. People are the most powerful, huge resources, and you want to use their time wisely. Automations free up your time, your team to focus on things like working with customers. You need to stay connected to your end user, and we're not at the point where robots are doing that. You want to work with them and work with them well and really understand what they need. Retraining on new processes in an ever-changing world. There's hundreds of apps we all use every day, and we're constantly retraining ourselves on that. And the more time we have to do that, the more time you can keep up with the business. I think the complex work that requires novel solutions and workflows is important in this case. And basically, as you're seeing here, these are creative tasks as opposed to the grinded out, manual tasks that you typically would spend a lot of time on. And I think that's the key point: is identify the best parts of your business to automate with software. Not all tasks should be automated, but automations do work best when the entire team and organization uses them together, or at least a team. That way you guys can work together and it's adopted by everybody. identify small tasks that take a little time every day or happen very frequently. I think if there's anything you take away from this, that's the big takeaway for automations. Do not automate tasks that aren't clearly defined or highly variable. That's why when you're at an early stage, you're not necessarily automating a lot because you don't know what you're going to be doing. It's changing every time. So I think that's a key piece there. The last piece is should be routinely audited to identify any needed changes and improvements. So ultimately, how do you build for success and stay flexible? Our founder said it best. He reinvents himself every year to meet the needs of our own company at Recharge. And I think that applies to everybody here and to automations as well. I think what worked a year ago may not work for you today. So define what success means for you every quarter, quantify wherever possible, and propose solutions for achieving success and implement them quickly and fail fast. And set routinely audits to evaluate what you've built. I can tell you, I've found automations myself that I built in Zapier that I forgot to turn off or making messes of things later because my workflow changed. And empower your team to weigh in. This is the last thing I'll close on. The importance of listening to operators. I'll end with a quick story. But basically, when we were working with a large merchant early on at Recharge, I talked to their head of customer support about some problems they're having with the platform. And they explained that, the workflow that she and her CS reps had gone through to refund or partially refund like over 100 customers who'd pinged customer support in their help desk. She had to go into Shopify, find specific order data, and then take it into Recharge to find the very specific charge that they needed to partially refund and do that over and over and over. Basically, this team had PTSD from this, and it was very obvious when you looked at it. The answer was that we built a deeper integration in with their support desk to refund directly out of the support desk so they didn't have to leave the app. And then we also rebuilt the Recharge UI to make it easier to query by platform order ID. And that way, if you do need to go into Recharge, you can find things faster. That was what we did in those cases and with the help of that kind of feedback, this is also what you can do in your business as well. And with that, I'll close. I'll go ahead and stop sharing and leave things open for questions.
Amazing. That was super insightful. And it was amazing also to see a lot of brands that I am a user of. I am a big subscription gal. I am pretty much subscribed to everything. Makes it easier when I don't have to worry about when I'm getting razors or when I'm getting my food. So I absolutely love subscriptions. Kevin, if you wouldn't mind, we actually had a couple questions for you in the chat. One was if you can go over again the tech stack for Zitstica.
Yeah, totally. Let me go back and go over that really quick. Oh yeah, so for comms, they were using PostScript and Klaviyo and Recharge SMS. Their front end is built by Shogun, if you're curious about that theme. That is very custom. There's some custom stuff there. They probably worked with a web dev agency to build that out. They're using Recharge, obviously. For upsells and cross-sells, Reconvert and Justuno. Yotpo for loyalty and referral. Gorgeous and Chat Desk for support desks apps. ShipBob and Route on the shipping side. Zapier, Shopify Flows for automation and getting apps to work together that don't necessarily. Avalara for taxes. On the analytics side, they're using Elevar, Stitch, and Supermetrics. I didn't mention on their website their checkout, they're using an address validator called Address Validator. There's a ton of apps that do that to just pre-fill your categories, and it just speeds up the checkout and reduces abandoned checkouts. And then Gorgeous for support desk.
And then one last one for you is I've been thinking about implementing subscription for a while. How long does it take to integrate my Shopify with Recharge?
You can install it yourself today. It's all self-installed. Basically, getting started isn't very hard. It just depends on the complexity of how you want to get things going. But we offer a free account to start. We don't charge you until you start processing actual payments. So you can absolutely play around with the app. Where things get more complicated is, of course, if you're migrating customers to the platform, if you're doing custom website builds on top of it that need to interact with our product widgets on the product pages, and those things can extend install time. So I'd say on the complex side, if you're a really complex build, it might take you a month. And the most complex builds, 60 days if you're doing like migrations and moving a lot of data in. But if you're just getting started and just installing the app, that can be done in 30 minutes.
Amazing. Well, with that, I will end things. And then if you guys do have more questions, I see there's more questions for Kevin. Go ahead and pop in the recharge booth. There's going to be some recharge teammates in there to help answer any questions that you guys have. So I encourage you to go hop in there after this. And Kevin, thank you again so much for your time. It's always a pleasure speaking with you. I think I learned 10 things today on this call. I always learn so much from you. So appreciate your knowledge on subscription and all things e-commerce.
Thank you, Carly. Lovely being here. Lovely to see you again. Thank you.
Yeah, likewise. See you, Kevin.
Bye.